So I kind of rushed into marriage because I wasn't getting any younger, and the fear of getting married before 30 made me to get married to a man I barely knew without checking for compatibility and other important things. Hi guys, welcome back to Truth Tales and Thoughts. Today we're going to be reading some stories about people's marital drama from the Instagram page Joro Olumofin. If this is your first time on the channel or you've been watching without subscribing, make sure you click the subscribe button, like the video, share this content with anybody you think will find this kind of content entertaining, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. My husband doesn't apologize when he does something wrong. He will just credit my accounts. Hello Joro, good morning. My husband doesn't like apologizing. When he does something wrong, he will just come and ask me if I want food, perfume, a foot massage, or better still, he will just credit my accounts. Most times, he will just do transfer and expect all to be well. He can never say I'm sorry. On this particular day, he was meant to take me out, but he instead went out and only came back at 3 a.m. When I asked him where he was, he said he had gone out with his friends. I was mad at him, but instead of apologizing, he just sent me money. We live in the UK, so I suggested that we see a therapist concerning this issue, but he instead got angry and refused. I have a job with a decent salary. All I want to hear is, I'm sorry. Am I wrong to want this? Please advise me. This one said, your husband is wrong. Send his number, let me advise him on your behalf. I know that some people will not mind receiving that alert instead of I'm sorry. I am very sure that some people will not mind, but clearly it's important to her, guys. Sometimes some things that might not matter to you might be important to somebody else. This one said, ask him why he never says sorry, especially when he's massaging your feet. The next one said, dear God, this is one of the reasons I want to have my own money, please. If this poster didn't have a decent salary, she won't see anything wrong with this behavior. I know. If this poster didn't have her own money, the money he credits her account with will be so impressive that she will just ignore the problem. This one said, you're not wrong, my dear. Your husband is proud. Yeah. Why can't you just say I'm sorry? Like, I understand that some people find it very awkward, especially men. Some men find it very, very awkward to say I'm sorry. It's like, it's just awkward. Just say, do you want to eat soya? I was listening to Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo's sermon once. If you don't know him, he's a relationship and marriage pastor and relationship counselor. And he has a lot of sermons on YouTube. I can link his channel below so that you guys who are interested can go and watch him. He's really good. And his specialty is relationship, dating, and marriage. So on one of his sermons, he was talking about men that do not apologize, just like Opie's husband. Sometimes after an altercation, instead of the man to apologize, he'll probably just go out and on his way back, he'll just buy you soya. And then when he gets back home, he'll just ask you, do you want to eat soya? You know, in an effort to reconcile, he'll just ask you, do you want to eat soya? Instead of apologizing. Ugh. Anybody can change anything about themselves. But the question is, are they willing to? Even if you struggle with apologizing, for the sake of your wife, why can't you just open your mouth and apologize? At least try. You can put an effort. Come on. The next one says, when you love someone so much, you will understand that there's more to life than money. You are not overreacting. He should learn to say sorry. It is not even a big deal. Exactly. It's not a big deal. The next one said, you cannot see. Don't be looking for a problem where there's none. He probably wasn't brought up to apologize. And again, maybe he believes actions speak louder than words. I don't think his behavior is okay. Everybody should be able to say sorry. You know, I understand that he's probably saying sorry in his own way. And I'm sure Opie understands that that's his way of saying sorry. But I believe that if it's important to his wife, he can put an effort to just, just open your mouth and say sorry. It's not that serious. You can just quickly say sorry. Even if, okay, just say sorry. It's not so dramatic. The next one said, save enough, get your papers right, and make sure you are not pregnant. If you already have a child, and if you can afford 6 months worth of rent, get a stable job and divorce him. What? Is this person kidding me? Because he cannot apologize, you just divorce him. What? These are the kind of things that make me wonder. So, how are we going to do it? All of us are just going to be divorced at this rate. Do you guys think that OP should divorce this man of hers because he does not know how to apologize? Assuming that they're having a healthy marriage and this is the only issue she faces with her husband, do you think they should divorce? Oh my God. And the next one right under that comment says, divorce him ASAP. Are these people being sarcastic? I hope so. The next one said, start wronging him as well. When he complains, dash him some cash and keep quiet. I know. I understand that money can solve a lot of problems, but we also have to accept the fact that there are some problems that money can never solve. Money is not a tool that can be used in every circumstance. And in this circumstance, it's only I am sorry that will work for you. I'm sorry that cost you nothing will work for you, but you prefer to pay. You prefer to pay. Can you imagine? This one said, now because say she get money, if not, she won't complain. That is why it's good for a woman to have her own money, so that if the man does anyhow, he will collect. I know the only reason why she's seeing this problem and complaining about it is because she has her own, so she's not impressed by that money. You know, if she was desperate, I'm not sure she'll be here complaining. Maybe she'll complain, maybe it's going to annoy her. She'll most likely not have the lever to say anything. That's the difference. The next one said, it's not that deep, accept his gifts and move on, Jare. But the thing is that sometimes it's difficult to move on when you've not gotten that quote-unquote closure. Let's be clear that money is not an apology. A foot massage is not an apology. Okay? It could be that that's his own way of expressing that he's sorry, but it is not an apology. So I just think that moving on like nothing is wrong is quite risky, because it's only a matter of time before her cup will overflow. Because she's keeping all this resentment inside. She'll be thinking of all the millions of times that he has wronged her and never said he's sorry. She's not going to remember the foot massage he gave her. She's not going to remember, the money he credited in her account, because remember, she has her own money. So I think that this problem should be solved, because over time, she might not be able to keep going. She might get held bound by the resentment built over time. This one said, have one-on-one conversation with him. Tell him how you feel about him being unapologetic. But then again, didn't you see this before getting married to him? Yeah, that's the thing. This one said, same here. My husband will never say sorry. He just doesn't understand that all it takes for things to get better is to say sorry. Sorry is free. It's such a short word. 5 letters. Sorry. That's it. The next one said, wahala. Was it like this while you were dating? If yes, why did you go ahead to marry him, dear? She's already married him. It's okay, guys. She's already married him. She's looking for solutions. I understand. You can reprimand her, but why don't you reprimand her and give her an advice? Come on, guys. Come on. The next one said, you aren't wrong. Rather than request it in a way that will only push him away, see it as a way to help him. Massage his ego and make him know that you love him and all. But make your point clear that it's best for him to learn how to do this. Also, find ways to ignore him. The attention fits the weakness. If you ignore him, he will start apologizing. I don't think so. I think ignoring him will only send a message to him that an apology is not so important to you anyway. So I think that is only going to give him grounds to remain absolutely unapologetic. I don't think it's going to help in any way. This one said, just tell him to write sorry in the reference as he's sending you money. And what are you supposed to do about this? If you can't cope, leave him. Someone else will try. Some people have a way of apologizing. Probably that's his own style. See him before una marry. That's the thing. See him. Well, guys, what do you guys think about this one? Would you constantly accept a cash apology, a foot massage apology, a food apology? Or are you the kind of person who needs to hear the words, I am sorry? Let me know in the comment section down below. And personally, I just think that OP should talk to her husband. She should really just have a vulnerable conversation with him, just to express to him how she really feels, to express to him what the words I'm sorry can do for her, just to let him know that it's quite challenging for her to move past the problem without having heard those words, I am sorry. I quite understand both of them. The husband on one hand feels like he's apologizing in his own way, but he's not speaking his wife's language, so the communication is not there. She does not have the impression that he's apologizing. She, on the other hand, has the impression that he's overlooking the issue. Her feelings are not valid to him. He's ignoring her feelings. I believe that that's how she perceives it. That being the case, they're not communicating. However, I strongly believe that they can come to some kind of an agreement, some kind of compromise where they meet each other halfway. Only a conversation and proper communication can get them to that point. Good evening, Joro. Please keep me anonymous. I don't know what to do about my wife. Some years ago, our daughter had very bad ulcers that required an operation. So the family created a WhatsApp group for donations. After my daughter's operation, the group was deleted. My wife carried all the receipts and pictures from my daughter's operation, posted them on Facebook and started begging for money. She even included my old picture from uni where I looked very hungry and skinny, and called me her brother and said people should contribute and said people should contribute for me to eat and go to school. A friend of mine took a screenshot of my wife's post on Facebook and sent it to me. When I confronted her, she started crying and mentioning all the things she used the money to buy. Apparently, she used the money she had begged to buy me a new shaving kit and a wristwatch. She asked me that where do I think she gets all that money that she uses to cook snail and pepper chicken on Sundays. It's from the begging. I was so embarrassed. I asked her to delete the post, but she refused. She said she would leave it up until January. My wife has a job, so I don't even understand why I should be begging online. Please advise me. What do I do? The first comment says, not trying to be petty, but can we please see the old university picture? I know, because he said he looked hungry and skinny. Oh my God. The next one said, Yahoo babe, still add emotional blackmail join with receipts and authenticity. You serve the chop pepper snails. You serve the chop pepper snails and chicken every Sunday. You think it comes easy? The next one says, she's using the money to feed you and your children, which means you are not providing enough for your family. You need to do better, sir. Well, that could be true, but do you also realize that some people are just greedy? They just want more. Sometimes you see someone that seemingly has everything they need, go out of their way to do some crazy things to get even more. So it could be that this man is providing quite alright, but the wife is greedy. That is definitely a possibility. Next one says, Oga, you chop the chicken and pepper snails or not? The next one says, you chop pepper snails. Everybody is coming for the pepper snails. This one said, you chop pepper snails. Wait. This one said, you chop pepper snails and chicken where you not drop money for. You not ask questions. Now they don't guilt trip you. But the thing is, he says that, but the thing is, OP says that his wife has a job. So maybe it did not occur to him that she's been begging online. He probably thought that she just kept some money aside from her salary and made the pepper snails. This one said, my friend, collect that phone and delete those pictures everywhere. Go to our social media platforms, appreciate the people and tell them your daughter is now well. I know, this is just this is ridiculous. I just don't have the impression that this family needs the money. She just uses the money she gets from the begging for her family's wants. She says she bought him a new shaving kit. That is not a necessity. A wristwatch is not a necessity. Pepper, snails, and chicken on Sundays are definitely not necessities. So I don't think that they're desperate for money. I just think that this woman saw an opportunity to scam people and she went for it. You have a sick child, you can just go there and guilt trip people to give you money. And she just took the opportunity. I just think that's what it is. It's not because they're in lack or anything. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. But that's the vibe I'm getting from this story. This one said, you need to be a man. How can your wife be constituting this kind of heavy nuisance and you're here on Joro's page looking for advice? You don't get control over your family. This one said, is the pepper snail and chicken for me? The next one said, The more reason why some people are very skeptical about helping people. Too many scams, it's become hard to tell the real ones. Exactly. And the worst part of her scam is that they're actually authentic documents. She has receipts to provide, given that her child was truly sick. So I'm sure when people look at it, they're like, oh my God, this is very serious. It's a real issue. Look at the receipts. Not knowing that she's just leveraging her child's ulcer. This one said, this is not nice now. Please look for money and start a business that will bring money to your household so that she can stop acting like a cursed person outside. Oh, well, I just feel like this woman is a greedy person. Even if you set up a business for her, she'll probably set up a scam on the side. she just sounds like a crooked person. Anyway, the next one said, as a man, you're asking questions on Joro. Are you gay or something? Can't you take charge of your home? Your wife is embarrassing and you are here asking us what you should do. You will give her an ultimatum and report her to her family because she's mad. I beg, come out for here. Isn't it funny how people usually associate lack of masculinity to gay people? I'm sure there are a lot of masculine gay men, no? And just the fact that they're attracted to other men, I just feel like there is masculinity overload. The next one said, were you giving her money for the snail and chicken? Or you two were just opening your mouth and eating the food for free? Only the elites eat this kind of food in this current economic climate. The next one said, this is why people don't want to help. You can never know who is who, and we Nigerians like pity story. The next one said, she used your picture and your daughter's picture to beg. Better call family meeting. You yourself were there enjoying snails and chicken. You didn't know where it was coming from. This isn't funny though. The next one said, in anything you are doing, always pray for the spirit of contentment and pray that God sends you a partner who is also contented. Exactly. I've already noticed that some people in the comment section are recognizing the actual problem. I think the wife is not contented. Even if she was a millionaire and the CEO of a massive company which was doing very well, I am sure that she will still have some scam on the side to bring her some kind of illicit money. She's a greedy person. I don't think it's a matter of whether or not her husband is providing. It's a character problem. She's a greedy person. She's not contented with what she has. She wants more by all means, you know. So yeah, I think contentment is a key word here. The next one said, I see where your wife got her nerve from. You're obviously the woman in the home, coming here to ask for advice. Please, by the way, I'm interested in that old picture of yours. God to punish the people who are asking for that picture. This man is here crying to us, asking for advice, and people are talking about his old picture. People are so wicked. This one said, you ate the pepper snails that your money didn't provide for. Abi, you know it's embarrassing, Sha. I know, it's so embarrassing. This one said, you to double your hustle. Your wife is a provider in the house. You still want to close her online business. I know. But I don't think it's a matter of whether or not she's providing. I think she's just a greedy person. He wants to close her online business. She has already told him that she's letting the business run until January. This one said, since now we go help you control your wife. Post the page, make we report them for EFCC for misleading and obtaining under false pretense. Your wife na Yahoo woman. And you be the accomplice. You did there the chop peppered snails and chicken. Oh. People will not get over the fact that he ate the pepper snails. He was there eating pepper snails that he did not give money for. Oh my God. This one said, your wife now Banje, please take her for deliverance. This one said, you see why it's advisable for a man to be financially stable before building a family instead of depending on love? You see that you cannot even stand your ground in your own home and convince your wife to delete a picture that downgrades you and your family because true, na money for food be that. Oh, I hope this is not the case. But I still believe that this woman is not begging because she's starving. Do you hear what she does with the money? For me, the money from the begging is just extra money for her own wants. It's not because she's desperate or anything. She's greedy. She's not contented. Maybe she has beef stew to eat on Sundays, but she'll go out there and beg so that she can eat snails and chicken. Do you understand? I don't think it's a matter of she does not have food to eat. She's just not contented with the food that she has. So she's trying to go out there and make more money by begging to upgrade the kind of food that she eats on Sunday. I think it's that kind of situation. This one said, if you're a provider, she wouldn't have had to think about that in the first place. Well, let's take the second to the last comment that says, you are not a man. I just pray you see my comment. You are a mumu man for looking for advice here on Joro. Can't you be a man and talk to your wife? They will soon carry your picture come Instagram. Stay there and be looking for advice. This one said, Chai, may God provide for this man and all the men out there genuine with their hustle. Cause what the F is all this disrespect? Jeez, even the woman doesn't have single shame left in her body. Exactly. Can you imagine the shame and humiliation it takes for you to get one of your husband's pictures when he looked tattered and battered, post it on the internet, call him your brother and beg for money just to cook peppered snails and chicken? Oh my God, this woman is so shameless. Guys, let me know, if you're in OP's shoes, what would you do? And what do you think about this woman's behavior? Is she in need of a fresh dose of shame or what? Let me know in the comment section. I am extremely bored in my marriage. I barely love or remember my husband. Hello Joro, please keep me anonymous. So I kind of rushed into marriage because I wasn't getting any younger, and the fear of getting married before 30 made me to get married to a man I barely knew without checking for compatibility and other important things. I have never experienced this level of boredom in my entire life. My husband and I live in different cities. My problem is that we are not compatible at all. We ain't friends. We just never have anything to talk or gist about. Our calls can never last more than 1 minute. The calls just consist of us greeting and finding out what's going on with each other. And all our chats are just as dry. Me that loves chatting and gisting. I realize we don't have a lot in common. He behaves so old and outdated. Even my dad was more fun than him. At least my dad could play PlayStation games and some board games at the age of 70. But my husband doesn't know how to do all those ones, so he knows nothing about music trends, fashion, and all that. I'm a fun person. I like to gist, play, vibe to music, and all that. I am a game girl. I love playing video games. I like going out sometimes, have fun, try new things, and just explore. My husband, on the other hand, has zero vibe content in him. I don't know what to discuss with him. There are times when I've tried bringing up the conversation over the phone, maybe about something trending online, but he knows nothing about all those things. He's mostly a Facebook user. He's not up to date with apps like IG, Twitter, or TikTok. I never knew bringing up conversations and gist can be so hard. I mean, when I think back, conversations with my ex were so smooth and fun. We could easily talk for 4 hours on the phone, even though he was abroad. Our chats were so long. We talked about both useful and useless topics, just everything. He was my gist partner and best friend. I used to gist him about everything, and so did he. We still talk once in a while, not as much as before, but thanks to him I have someone to talk to and confide in about some things going on in my life. And I don't have any female friends. My husband is a good man though, very selfless, caring and generous. Even his dressing style is outdated, but I know that I can easily change that. Maybe when we start living together, I can try introducing him to some things I enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, this lack of connection is making me not to love him. I never miss him and barely remember him in a whole day. Is it possible for me to change his character and personality to become more fun and lively? Or shall we end up in divorce? Please advise. The first comment says, you see these 30 years you all are running from, this particular age. I wonder what is wrong with being single at 30. A 30-year-old woman is just a child. A young woman who is still trying to figure her life out, and you all are bothering about achieving marriage before 30. As much as marriage is beautiful, but this deadline you lots have put on women's marital settlement have ruined a lot of them. There is much more to life than just being called a wife. You need friends, you need allies, you need support system. But no, you people have centered your life around marriage and your husbands. Enjoy your marriage, dear. You made it. You got married before 30. Take your trophy. Guys, in Africa, when you are a 30-year-old, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, where's the walking stick? Everybody sees you like granny. In fact, by then, people might as well just call you granny. You are done. Your life, that's it. Your life is over. If you're not married by 30, I say your life is over. That's the end. Just forget it. Forget it. It's done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. You're too old. If I kill yourself, you're too old for life. You're supposed to be in the grave at 30. Oh my God. This one said almost 30 and was under pressure. Now you do yourself. Oh. The thing is, I personally believe that the pressure is real. I understand that sometimes all this quote unquote advice that young people, especially in their mid to late 20s, receive it comes from a good place, because let's be honest, ideally, right? Ideally, biologically, it is better for you to have your kids sooner than later. Yeah. Most young girls in that age group already know that. They don't need someone to come and remind them of that. It's almost like I already have a goal and I'm doing what I can to work on the goal. I don't need anybody to come and remind me. Do you understand? So I believe that all this advice that people in their mid to late 20s receive, it is good. It's not, marriage is not a bad thing, especially if that is what you want for your life. If you have the intention of getting married, it's better to do it as soon as you can, yeah? But at the same time, sometimes this good advice can come across as pressure, because these girls already wish that they were married. They are the ones in the situation, they're the ones wearing the shoes. They don't need you now to come and add pressure on top of the pressure that they are already putting on themselves. So I just believe that the external pressure just makes matters worse, and that is what would easily push somebody like this girl to just pick the next best man down the street to get married to, without even caring if they're compatible and all whatnot. In my personal opinion, most of the things she's mentioned are totally irrelevant in the bigger picture. She said the man is outdated, he uses only Facebook, he's not up to date with the current trends on TikTok, IG and Twitter. Okay. What else did she say? His dressing style is outdated, but that I believe that she's optimistic about changing that, so that will no longer be a problem by the time they're moving together. So just by hearing the things that she's mentioning about this man, the problems she has with him, in my opinion, it is not a problem. Those are not problems. She says he's very selfless, he's generous, he's a good man, he's kind. Girl, put that against these problems you're talking about. For me, it just falls flat. I believe that they just need to, what they need to do is, they need to get to know each other. Maybe they have more in common than what she thinks. And even if they don't have a lot in common, if both of them approach this with open minds, with time, they'll each rub off on each other and will end up becoming more like each other. She's going to inherit some of his attributes and vice versa. So I don't think that this is necessarily a problem. I understand that some people are really big on, someone who is in tune with the musical trends, the fashion trends, celebrity drama and all of that. But in the bigger picture of things, that is not what will make your marriage work. So in my opinion, I believe that even though she married this man for the wrong reason, since she's already married to him, she can make it work. I understand how boring it can be for someone who is so vibrant, lively and such a social media babe to be with a granny acting husband like this man, but I think that that is inconsequential when it comes to having a great marriage. So just as she said, I think she should introduce him to some things that she likes, just so that they can have things to do together, and I hope that she'll also be open to trying some things that he likes. The next one said, "Dear sister, with all you have said, I can pick up a common denominator, which is comparing your husband to your ex. The truth is, you expect a whole lot from him because he still nurses feelings for your ex. Bringing your ex into this wasn't necessary in my opinion. But the ex is definitely in the picture, and she's definitely doing a comparison between her husband and her ex. That's for sure. Since you know he's a Facebook person, by being up to date with Facebook trends and listening about them with him, you can also try finding other things he likes and catching up to them." Exactly, because she's only looking at things from her own perspective. I'm sure that man too has his own interests that she too can get involved in, so that they have things to talk about. Most importantly, try to find happiness in yourself. If you aren't happy, who else do you expect to make you happy? My 2 cents. That's the thing. She says she likes to go out, she likes to have fun, go out with her friends and all of that. Then do that. You're not even living in the same city with your husband right now. Why don't you do that? But she says she does not have female friends. It seems to me like this girl only has her ex and her husband in her life. But you like to do all these fun things. How are you a fun person? I don't really understand what exactly this girl is talking about, because in my opinion, she doesn't seem to be a fun person. But we'll just go by what she says here. If you are a fun person, you like playing your video games, why are you not doing that? Just do the things that you like. Maybe you doing these things and enjoying them will eventually make him interested. You just never know. Go ahead and do the things you want to do. You should be living your life regardless of whether or not someone is there to indulge in these things with you. If you have interest, pursue your interests regardless of whether or not you have someone to do that with you. The next one said, can I ask how Indians do it in their marriages? Because a lot of their marriages are arranged, but they stay together and raise kids. India currently has the lowest divorce rates in the world. I believe that when it comes to these arranged marriages, right, the parties are always willing to make the marriage work, and they already know that the option for divorce is almost non-existent, so they bring their A game. It's a matter of 100. So I just think that in those kind of situations, that's what makes it work. This one said, LOL, the ex you couldn't marry, you are comparing him to the man you married. What do women really want? Thankfully, you didn't speak about cheating yet. The next one said, I see a lot of women advising her aren't really helping her explore her options to make the marriage work. What happened to giving her ideas on how to make it work? But 90% are castigating her for marrying early just to persuade her to divorce so that she can join them. It's a sad trend of things. Those ones just sit and look for who to recruit to transfer their hurt and bitterness about relationships to. The sooner women understand that their greatest enemy is their fellow woman, the better for them. I cannot help but notice the irony because this poster hasn't given her any advice on how to make the marriage work either. So it's just funny how the person came here to criticize others for not giving advice while simultaneously not giving advice themselves. I was waiting for the part where we say, okay, so this is what she should do, but there's no advice. The next one said, you see that ex you're still communicating with, that is where the solution starts. Cut communication with him. The time you used to talk to him, call your hubby and ask him to tell him the details of his work day. When he's through, you also tell him exactly how you spent your day. Do it 3 times in a week, then proceed to making it happen every day. Then randomly get him a gift and send it to him and tell him how much you miss him and want him around, and that you can't wait to see him. There are so many ways to make this work, please. I found myself during this segment of the video hoping that this marriage works. I don't even know them, but I'm really hoping that it works, because if this man is a good man, if he has other qualities that truly matter, then girl, you need to make it work. Maybe you married him for the wrong reasons, and they always say that if you marry for the wrong reasons, you've most likely married the wrong person. But I believe that since she's already married, are you going to divorce because of boredom? If your life is not being threatened and you're not being cheated on, I believe that you can work on it. If both of them are willing, I truly believe that they can work on this thing. And the last comment says, you have all it takes to make him what you want him to be. Like you said, he's a good man, caring, very selfless and generous, in your own words. Don't give a blind eye to all those important qualities he has. Boredom can be fixed, but a good man is hard to find. Can you imagine her leaving this good man because of boredom? How senseless would that be? So let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're in OP's shoes, would you divorce this man because he's boring? Or would you look for a way to fix it? And do you believe that the problem stems from the fact that she's comparing this husband of hers to her ex? Lastly, do you think that someone being updated with all the social media trends is an important factor in a marriage? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. So guys, we've finally come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed watching the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the content with anybody you think will find this kind of content entertaining, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.